49 cents. That is what one serving costs. One fruit, available at any grocery store across America. A published clinical trial demonstrated that it improved insulin sensitivity in just 6 weeks. That fruit is the blueberry. But before you scroll past this thinking, you already know everything there is to know about blueberries. I want you to stop and stay with me, because I can tell you with complete clinical certainty, you don't. Most people are eating blueberries the wrong way, at the wrong time, and in the wrong combination. And as a result, they are unknowingly eliminating up to 70% of the benefit before those compounds ever reach their bloodstream. And here is the part that should genuinely concern you. There are 7 fruits sitting in your kitchen right now. 3 of them are actively protecting your blood sugar. 4 of them are quietly working against it. And the uncomfortable reality is that almost no one, not your doctor in a 12-minute office visit, not the label on the packaging, is telling you clearly which is which. Nobody is drawing that line for you. That is why I am here. Today, I am going to rank all 7 of those fruits, from the worst to the best. I will explain the underlying science in plain, direct language, without shortcuts, without confusion, and without any wasted time. Number 7 on this list is the fruit that most adults over 60 reach for every single summer, absolutely convinced it is the safest and most harmless choice they could make. Number 1 is the reason a woman named Doris watched her A1C drop from 8.4 to 6.1 in just 90 days. Her endocrinologist sat across from her at the follow-up appointment and asked what she had changed. What new medication had she started? What had her specialist adjusted? She looked at him directly and said 2 words. 1 fruit. He reached for his notepad. He wrote it down. My name is Dr. Adewale Morgan. And today I am going to walk you through exactly what Doris did, explain precisely why it worked at the metabolic and cellular level, and tell you which fruits you need to stop treating as everyday health foods immediately. But before I rank a single fruit, 2 things. They are brief, but they matter more than you might expect. If you are over 60 and you are paying serious attention to your blood sugar, whether out of genuine concern, medical necessity, or simply because no physician has ever taken the time to sit down and explain how all of this connects, subscribe to this channel. My purpose here is to give you the thorough, honest, detailed explanation that a rushed clinical appointment simply cannot provide. Then leave 1 word in the comments right now. The name of the fruit you eat most frequently during the week. I read every comment. They guide exactly what I cover next. That is all. Now, let us get into it. First, let me lay the foundation. Let me explain precisely why fruit is so deeply confusing for anyone trying to manage blood sugar. Because fruit is not a single uniform category of food. It is not like sodium, where more is worse and less is better in a clean, predictable line. Think of fruit more like a medicine cabinet. Some bottles on the shelves inside that cabinet will help your body heal and function properly. Others will silently make your condition worse, and several of them look almost identical on the outside, while what they are doing on the inside could not be more different. Here is exactly what happens inside your body when you eat fruit. The primary sugar in most fruits is fructose. Unlike glucose, fructose does not enter your bloodstream directly after you consume it. It takes a different route. It travels to your liver first. Your liver must process it and handle the metabolic workload. In moderate amounts, particularly when the fruit's natural fiber is still fully intact, your liver manages that load without significant difficulty. Your blood sugar stays relatively stable. There is no dramatic spike, no sudden crash, no disorienting drop in energy. Your system handles it. But here is the critical mechanism that almost no one explains clearly, even in a clinical setting. When you consume fruit without its fiber, when you juice it, blend it into a smoothie, or select a variety that is naturally low in fiber and extremely high in sugar, that fructose does not arrive at the liver gradually and in an orderly fashion. It floods the liver all at once, in a volume that the organ was not designed to handle efficiently. And when the liver is overwhelmed by that concentrated fructose load, it begins converting the excess directly into fat. That is problematic on its own. But there is something even more damaging that occurs in the process. The liver begins triggering a response called hepatic insulin resistance. In plain language, your liver gradually loses its ability to respond properly to insulin, and once that mechanism is compromised, your fasting blood sugar starts to climb. Even while you are sleeping, even 12 or more hours after your last meal. This is not theoretical. This is the documented, reproducible physiological chain of events. And this is exactly why certain fruits support healthy blood sugar, while others actively undermine it at the biological level. So, let us rank all 7. As we move through each one, keep a mental note of which fruits are already in your kitchen. Because by the time I reach number 1, I think you will feel the pull to walk in there and make a few meaningful changes. Number 7. Watermelon. This is the fruit I mentioned in the first 30 seconds, the one that most adults over 60 reach for during summer with total confidence. Absolutely certain it is the most innocent option available, primarily because it consists mostly of water. And yes, watermelon is approximately 92% water. But that is precisely the trap. That water content creates a feeling of harmlessness that the metabolic data does not support. Watermelon carries a glycemic index of approximately 76. To place that in proper context, that number is actually higher than a comparable serving of ordinary table sugar. And watermelon provides almost no fiber to moderate the rate at which that sugar enters your bloodstream. So that large, cold, refreshing slice you enjoy on a July afternoon enters your system at a speed that closely resembles drinking a can of soda. The water content deceives you into believing nothing significant has occurred. Your pancreas is not deceived. It is responding at full capacity. I am not instructing you to eliminate watermelon entirely. I am instructing you to stop treating it as an unlimited summer staple you can consume freely and without consequence. A few small cubes alongside a small handful of walnuts or almonds. That is a manageable, reasonable choice. An entire bowl eaten alone on an empty stomach is a different metabolic scenario entirely. That bowl generates a significant blood sugar spike. And 60 to 90 minutes afterward, you will very likely feel the energy drop that follows. The fatigue, the sudden hunger, the difficulty focusing. That is not the summer afternoon you deserve to be experiencing. Number 6. Pineapple. Pineapple has earned a strong reputation as a healthy fruit, primarily because it contains a digestive enzyme called bromelain. Bromelain is widely promoted for supporting digestion and reducing inflammation. Some of those claims have a genuine basis in the research. But here is what I need you to understand clearly. Bromelain does absolutely nothing, not one measurable thing, to protect your blood sugar or improve your insulin response. Meanwhile, pineapple carries a glycemic index of approximately 66, along with a substantial amount of rapidly absorbed sugar and very little fiber to slow the absorption down. Canned pineapple packed in syrup is a worse option still. Pineapple juice is worse than both, because the moment you strip away the fiber entirely, you are back to replicating the exact scenario I described, flooding the liver with fructose directly, at speed, in volume, without any buffer. Fresh pineapple in a small portion, consumed after a complete meal that already includes protein and healthy fat, is something most people can process without significant disruption. But eating pineapple alone on an empty stomach is, in metabolic terms, a rapid sugar delivery system in tropical packaging. The bromelain on the label does not change what is happening inside your liver. Number 5. Mango. People call mango the king of fruits, and they say it with an authority that implies automatic health benefits. Let me give you a more accurate clinical picture. One medium-sized mango contains approximately 45 grams of sugar. That exceeds the sugar content found in many candy bars that most adults feel genuine guilt about consuming. Its glycemic index sits around 60. Mango does provide real nutritional value, meaningful amounts of vitamin C and carotenoids, which are the orange pigments that carry legitimate antioxidant activity. I am not dismissing those qualities, but for anyone actively working to manage their blood glucose, the sheer sugar concentration is not something you can simply look past. Think of mango the way you might think of a fine dessert. A few thin slices as an occasional indulgence after a protein-rich balanced meal. that is entirely reasonable and enjoyable. Half a mango chopped into your breakfast bowl first thing in the morning on an empty stomach is a very different situation. That choice will likely produce a blood sugar reading that climbs visibly on your glucose meter within the hour following. It is a matter of volume, context, timing, and what surrounds it. Number 4. The banana. This is the fruit found in nearly every kitchen across America. And this is where the conversation becomes genuinely fascinating, because the banana perfectly illustrates the entire argument at the heart of this video. A banana is not a static food with a fixed metabolic identity. It changes its character, dramatically, as it ripens. And most people have absolutely no awareness of this transformation. A firm banana with green or slightly yellow-green tips contains a significant concentration of resistant starch. Resistant starch is a type of carbohydrate that your digestive system cannot break down rapidly. It moves through your gut slowly, and as a result, its impact on blood sugar is modest and gradual. That same banana, left on the counter for 3 or 4 days, develops a sweeter flavor, a softer texture, and brown markings across the peel. That visible transformation is telling you something precise about the chemistry inside. The resistant starch has converted into simple sugar. An overripe, heavily spotted banana can reach a glycemic index of approximately 62. The same fruit. A completely different metabolic outcome. 3 days on the counter is the difference. And here is the mistake most people make with bananas. The exact same mistake they make with blueberries, which I will come to shortly. They choose the softest, sweetest, most spotted banana on the bunch. They eat it alone, first thing in the morning, on a completely empty stomach. And then they find themselves shaky, hungry, and searching for something to eat by 10 o'clock. The crash is not a coincidence. It is a predictable, repeatable metabolic response. A firm, green-tipped banana eaten alongside a spoonful of natural peanut butter or a hard-boiled egg. That is a thoughtful, structurally sound choice. An overripe banana eaten in isolation at 7 in the morning is almost guaranteed to produce a spike followed by a collapse. Choose your banana by the peel, not the sweetness. So there you have the 4 fruits working against you: watermelon, pineapple, mango, and the overripe banana. 4 options that may already be sitting in your kitchen right now, quietly working against the very goal you are trying to reach. Now let us move to the 3 fruits that actively work in your favor. Number 3, the apple. You have heard the proverb, your entire life, an apple a day. And it turns out there is substantial clinical truth behind that saying, with one critical, non-negotiable condition attached. You must keep the skin on. The apple's primary advantage for blood sugar management comes from a soluble fiber called pectin, which is concentrated in the layer just beneath the peel. When pectin enters your digestive tract, it forms a natural gel-like barrier that physically slows the rate of sugar absorption into your bloodstream. This mechanical effect is real and measurable. The peel also contains the majority of the apple's polyphenol content, plant compounds that research has associated with a healthier, more stable insulin response and improved glucose metabolism over time. Peel the apple, and you have effectively discarded the active agent while keeping the sugar. Transform it into applesauce or apple juice, and the situation deteriorates further. A whole apple eaten with its skin fully intact carries a glycemic index of approximately 36, making it one of the most gentle blood sugar protective options on this entire list. The instruction is almost insultingly simple. Eat the whole apple, skin and all. Leave it intact. That is the complete strategy. And it works consistently. Number 2, grapefruit. Grapefruit holds the lowest glycemic index of every fruit we have covered today, approximately 25. It also contains a natural flavonoid compound called naringin, which is the molecule responsible for the characteristic sharp, bitter flavor that makes grapefruit immediately recognizable. Research has associated naringin with measurable, meaningful improvements in insulin sensitivity. On paper, and in the literature, grapefruit is as close to an ideal, blood sugar-supportive fruit as nature has produced. But I need to draw a clear, absolute line here, because this is also the one fruit on today's list that carries genuine risk for certain individuals, and that risk has nothing to do with sugar content. Grapefruit blocks a critical enzyme in your intestinal lining called CYP3A4. Your body depends on this enzyme to properly break down many commonly prescribed medications, including numerous cholesterol-lowering statins and several classes of blood pressure drugs. When grapefruit blocks that enzyme, those medications can accumulate in your bloodstream to concentration levels they were never intended or designed to reach. That is not a minor, theoretical concern. It is a documented clinical interaction that can cause serious measurable harm. So if you are currently taking a statin or a blood pressure medication, do not add grapefruit to your daily routine without first speaking to your pharmacist and confirming whether your specific medication is on that interaction list. One phone call, that is the entire action required. Do not guess. Do not assume you would have been told. Ask directly. If you are not taking any of those medications, grapefruit becomes a powerful, low-glycemic ally for blood sugar management. Half a grapefruit in the morning, eaten in whole segments, preserving all of the natural fiber, is one of the most effective fruit-based choices you can make for your metabolic health. Number 1. The blueberry. The 49-cent berry I described in the very first sentence of this video. Here is exactly why it earns the top position. And here is exactly why most people unknowingly discard most of its benefit before those compounds ever reach their cells. The active compound that makes blueberries exceptional for blood sugar management is called anthocyanin. Anthocyanins are the deep blue-purple pigments concentrated specifically in the skin of each individual berry. They work at the cellular level to improve the sensitivity of the body's cells to insulin, enhancing the responsiveness of those cells so that your body requires less insulin to accomplish the same metabolic work. A published clinical trial found statistically significant improvements in insulin sensitivity after approximately 6 weeks of regular, consistent blueberry consumption. The responsible compound was the anthocyanin itself, not a processing byproduct, not an extract. The whole berry. Now here is the mistake I promised to explain from the very beginning of this video. And it is a mistake I encounter constantly, made by well-intentioned, health-conscious people who genuinely believe they are making the correct decision. Most people destroy the benefits of blueberries before those compounds ever reach their bloodstream. They blend them into smoothies, which fragments the fiber structure and replicates the exact liver-flooding fructose mechanism I explained in detail earlier. They bake them into muffins packed with refined flour and added sugar. Or they scatter them over a bowl of sweetened breakfast cereal, where the glycemic load of the cereal completely overwhelms every advantage the blueberry brings. When you do that, you are consuming the bottle while pouring the medicine directly down the drain. The blueberry is performing its intended function, but the environment you have placed it in is creating a larger opposing metabolic problem at the same moment. You are running 2 steps backward for every single step forward, and wondering why the numbers are not moving. The correct method is almost disarmingly simple. Half a cup of whole blueberries, fresh or frozen, because freezing does not reduce anthocyanin content, consumed alongside a protein source and a source of healthy fat. The protein and fat moderate digestion and ensure the anthocyanins reach your cells without a competing blood sugar spike undermining them from the other direction. Whole, not blended, not baked, not buried beneath sweetened granola or flavored yogurt. Whole. Now let me tell you about Doris. Doris was 64 years old when she first sat down with me and shared an A1C of 8.4. If that number is unfamiliar to you, your A1C reflects your average blood sugar concentration across approximately 3 months. It is one of the most reliable indicators of how well your body is managing glucose over time. An A1C of 8.4 is a serious clinical number. It is the level at which physicians begin having frank, direct conversations about starting insulin therapy. At that point, dietary adjustments alone are often considered insufficient to produce a meaningful shift in the numbers. 90 days later, her A1C measured 6.1. Her endocrinologist at the follow-up appointment was genuinely stunned. A drop of that magnitude almost universally signals a significant new medication. He asked her what had changed, what had been prescribed, what had been adjusted. She looked at him steadily and answered, 1 fruit, 2 words. He picked up his pen. He wrote it down in her chart. What Doris actually did was straightforward, specific, and completely consistent. Every single morning, without exception, she combined half a cup of whole blueberries with plain Greek yogurt. Not flavored yogurt, not yogurt with fruit on the bottom. Plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt, which provided the protein and healthy fat necessary to slow digestion and create the right metabolic environment for the anthocyanins to function as intended. No smoothie, no sweetened cereal underneath, no muffin, whole blueberries, plain yogurt, every morning. And she made one additional change. She eliminated the glass of orange juice she had consumed with breakfast every single morning for 40 years. 40 years of the same glass of juice every morning, which she had always considered a natural and healthy habit. Because that glass of juice, which felt like health, which had always been part of her routine, which her mother had prepared for her, had been working against her fasting blood sugar every single night before she woke. It had been steadily flooding her liver with fructose, raising her baseline glucose while she slept, and quietly undoing every other positive health choice she made during the day. A 49-cent serving of whole blueberries, consumed correctly, alongside the elimination of one daily drink that had seemed completely benign. That combination, applied consistently, without deviation over 90 days, moved her A1C from a number indicating serious clinical concern to a number that left her endocrinologist reaching for a notepad. That is the power of specificity. That is the difference between eating fruit and eating the right way, at the right time, paired with the right foods. So here is your action plan, starting tonight, not tomorrow, tonight, before this becomes one more video you watched with genuine intention and then allowed to fade. Step 1. Walk into your kitchen right now and identify the 4 fruits we have discussed: watermelon, pineapple, mango, and any banana that has become soft, heavily spotted, and overripe. You do not have to discard them. That is not the point. You simply need to reclassify them, mentally and practically. Stop treating them as daily health foods and start treating them as occasional desserts. Eat small portions after a balanced meal that already contains protein and fat. Never eat them alone on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. Step 2. Tomorrow morning, eat half a cup of whole blueberries, fresh or frozen, alongside plain Greek yogurt or a small handful of mixed nuts. Not blended, not baked into something, not sprinkled over sweetened cereal, whole. That single change, applied every morning with consistency, is where the cumulative effect begins. That is where Doris started. Step 3. If there is fruit juice in your refrigerator right now, orange juice, apple juice, any variety, finish the glass you have already poured, and let that be the last one. I am being direct about this because it matters. Fruit juice is one of the most efficient ways to dismantle every positive dietary decision you are making elsewhere. It delivers concentrated fructose to your liver faster than almost any other item in your kitchen, and it produces no satiety, no fullness, no signal to stop. Just a quiet, consistent elevation of your fasting glucose over time. Step 4. Keep whole apples with their skin intact. Somewhere you will actually see them and reach for them. A bowl on the counter, the front shelf of the refrigerator. Eat them whole, skin on, every time. The skin is where the majority of the metabolic benefit lies, and peeling it away is peeling away the point. Step 5, and this one is non-negotiable. If you are currently taking a statin or any medication for high blood pressure, call your pharmacist before adding grapefruit to your regular diet. One phone call. Ask specifically whether your medication interacts with grapefruit. Do not assume you would have already been warned. Do not make a decision based on what you have seen in a video, including anything I have shared here. Drug interactions with grapefruit are clinically documented, serious, and can send people to the emergency room. That risk is real. Manage it with a simple, direct conversation with your pharmacist. Here is the principle I want to stay with you long after this video ends. Long after the tab is closed and the phone is back in your pocket. Doris changed 2 things. She added blueberries, whole, with protein, consistently applied every single morning. And she removed the orange juice she had consumed with breakfast for 40 years. That second change was equally as important as the first, perhaps more important, because it removed the obstacle that had been silently blocking her progress before she ever began. You cannot build forward momentum when something behind you is pulling at the same force. The fruit you choose to add to your diet often matters far less than the drink you have been consuming every morning for years without ever questioning it. The one that feels like health because it has always been there. The one that has been quietly raising your fasting blood sugar while you slept. That is exactly what I will address in the next video. The 3 morning drinks that most adults over 60 consume every single day that are consistently elevating their fasting glucose, often without any awareness at all. And the 2 drinks that carry genuine, evidence-backed potential to help bring those numbers down. One of them is very likely in your hand right now as you watch this. If you want results like Doris achieved, a real, measurable, clinically significant shift in your numbers over 90 days, the next video is where we continue. The work does not stop here. Your health is worth understanding completely and understanding clearly. I am Dr. Adewale Morgan. I will see you in the next video.